Welcome to another episode, and today I'm going to talk to you about Far Cry 6 and why I'm excited for the game. Now, I tried looking for brand new news for you guys, searching everywhere, high and low. I did some stuff that I'm ashamed of, but I had to do what I had to do for you guys. And since I couldn't find anything, I thought, at least I'll let you guys know why I'm excited for the game. And to tell you the truth, ever since the Far Cry 6 trailer came out, it just kind of lit a fire in my belly, man. I don't know what it is. A viewer suggested I do a lore video, so I started going back into the older games to Far Cry 2, kind of play that for a bit. Now when it comes to Far Cry 4, I found that it pretty much plays like Far Cry 5. Even though it's an old game, the gameplay is pretty much the same. So you can pretty much jump in between any Far Cry game, and even though each of them will have different improvements as you go on, the gameplay has pretty much stays the same, which is actually a good thing because Far Cry has awesome gameplay. It goes down to the world they build if it's gonna be a hit or miss pretty much. Far Cry 2, it's an interesting world. It's Africa obviously, and so I really appreciate that world. I really liked it, even though the game was not necessarily the best Far Cry that I played. But going back to Far Cry 4, the world wasn't really unique. I mean, it was a new place, the Himalayas, snow, mountains that you can fly. It had a vertical landscape, but it was all very samey. The whole world pretty much felt the same. So exploring was a drag, to tell you the truth. There was no moments, no special places that I felt connections with that I can even think of right now. And I've been playing the game for about a week non-stop. So now playing the world in Far Cry 5 is a lot better because I've never been to the Midwest. Obviously I've never been to the mountains either, but I've never been to the Midwest, and it seemed like they actually captured how it feels to live there. But what I really liked about it was the environments that they built. And even the plain shops that they have scattered around, or different houses that they have scattered around, they're all pretty much unique, and it feels kind of lived in, and you just kind of want to explore it a lot more. And actually, sometimes I just want to sit there and just I wish I can just sit there and like watch the world go by, you know what I mean? But the problem that I do have with Far Cry 5 world is that it's pretty much flat. It does have some mountains and forest areas, but if you want to ride around in a car, I guess it's pretty cool. But other than that, just a bunch of fields that you'll be running through. So most of the time you want to, get yourself a dune buggy or a car if you're going to be actually traversing through the world, or just use fast travel, I guess. But when you actually find those unique little spots, it's actually pretty cool and worth actually exploring. And that is the main reason why I'm excited for Far Cry 6. Because this time they're actually going to build a big city for you to explore in. And when you look back at all the previous Far Cries, they've never done a big city before. Now that's going to introduce new ways for you to play the game, and they really want to emphasize on the vertical aspects of the city. And I'm starting to think that maybe it's going to start looking a little bit more like Assassin's Creed, maybe how when the guards start chasing you, jumping through buildings, maybe this time going through like windows and people's houses that lead to like staircases and whatnot. And that's kind of like where I think that Far Cry 6 is going to be different from previous games, where most of the time you're just being chased across like an open field or through a mountain range. This time you're gonna have maybe being chased through buildings, which might add a new way to play. It's gonna feel more grimy, more dirty, and just living in that world, maybe trying new things, seeing how the people react around you, really has me excited. And I just want to see if they're able to give you something new, because one thing that I always like about the Far Cry games is the sense of randomness, how anything at any given time can happen. So the world never feels static. It never feels like it's waiting for you to trigger something like certain games that I play. It feels like the world is actually breathing, and if they can bring that same life to a big city full of people, full of things for you to do, see, that's what really has me excited about Far Cry 6. And the developers also came out and said that it's going to be running at 4K 60 frames per second for those of you that have those TVs. So it don't matter if you have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, the game should look and should run at its best on each console. And they're also going for this third-person view when it comes to cinematics, and I think that's a good change because it might actually bring you closer to the characters, because looking back, I have no connection to any of the characters that I'm playing right now in Part 5, Part 2, or Part 4. So maybe seeing them in action, seeing them all customized the way that I built them, just might bring me closer to the character and, you know, give me more reasons to invest in the story, or give me incentives to go do side quests, maybe go do other busy work that I normally wouldn't do just to get some cool little items. I don't know, it just might be fun. So I'm thinking this third person change is a good idea. And I also have a better picture of Chorizo, the companion you'll be able to unlock. Man, that little guy is fearsome, even on his little wheelchair. And me, if I had a little Winnie dog and his back went out, you'd be damn sure I'll be giving him a wheelchair. I'll get him all pimped out with spikes too, letting all the neighborhood dogs know not to fuck with them. Straight up, man.
That's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Remember, when shit hits the fan, run.